The movie begins in Southern California. Inside the bedroom of Janie Briggs, she watches the rom-com She's All That on a really crappy TV. The signal comes back on the screen, shows the actor Freddie. Janie is happy, and she takes out her toy that she uses for self-pleasure. She stays under the blanket and puts the toy in her and begins the ritual. Suddenly, her idiotic and usually drunk father enters her bedroom. She's startled and tries to turn the television off as the toy vibrates loudly. Janie reaches climax as the toy flies out and lands on the cake, splashing all that white cream on the people surrounding her bed. A young Ted Mosby tells a group of teenagers to separate into jocks, attractive ladies, and the nerds. We all know Ted would be in the nerds group too. During a routine drive to school in their father's well-worn truck, Mitch playfully nudges his sister Janie about getting a boyfriend, a notion she dismisses, eager to avoid the cliches of high school life. Amidst their sibling banter, an unexpected incident occurs when their father accidentally collides with a cheerleader, who ends up in their truck, adding an unusual twist to their morning commute. Elsewhere, Jake Weiler, the quintessential high school idol and star athlete, arrives at school in his flashy Ferrari, claiming a parking spot reserved just for him. As he strolls through the hallways, he's greeted with an outpouring of adoration from his female classmates, who toss their undergarments in his direction, while a male student contributes to the peculiar homage by throwing his jockstrap at Jake. Ricky Lippman, Janie's childhood friend, makes his way towards his best friend whom he has been simping obsessively with for a very long time. They talk a little, and he hands her a mixed-up. Janie throws it in her locker, stacking up the rest of the mixed-ups Ricky has given to her. In another part of school, Mitch meets up with his pals, the sensitive guy Ox and the wannabe Asian guy Bruce. They talk about needing to lose their virginity before graduation, despite only being freshman students. They stop walking upon seeing the perfect girl in school, Amanda Becker, who Mitch is crushing on. Hey, that's Gretchen Wieners from Mean Girls. Jake greets Reggie Ray, the typical idiotic fat guy in school who has a limited number of concussions left before he dies. Their cocky blonde teammate Austin walks up and makes fun of Jake no longer being the first string quarterback as Austin replaces him this year. Behind Austin is their token black friend Malik. Moments later, Jake's way older sister, Catherine, walks along the hallway looking all sexy and slutty. She makes her way to Jake and continues to flirt with her blood-related brother, whom she is attracted to. Catherine approaches her brother, Jake, with an unusual level of openness, sharing some personal revelations that leave Jake perplexed. The family dynamic takes another twist when Priscilla, the head cheerleader and Jake's significant other, takes him out for a crucial conversation. She informs him of a new turn in her romantic life, revealing she's now with Les, a classmate known for his eccentric hobby of filming. Meanwhile, in a stark contrast to this drama, Janie is in her art class, deeply focused on her painting. The simplicity of her artwork doesn't detract from her engagement, as evidenced by the paint stains on her overalls, a mark of her creative process. She is called to the principal's office because she is given the opportunity to show their new foreign exchange student, Ariella, to her first class. Meanwhile, Jake and his pals walk along the school and they find Priscilla making out with her new boyfriend. Jake is convinced that his ex is replaceable. Austin makes a wager that he chooses the most hopeless girl in school and that Jake cannot turn her into the prom queen. The four boys begin looking for a hopeless girl. They come across a hunchback girl, a guitar-playing albino chick, and conjoined twins, but none of them pass Austin's judgment, and he believes each of them is still prom queen material. Then Janie comes along and somehow they all believe she is the most hopeless one. Meanwhile, Mitch and his buddy spy on a girl dropping her she kisses. The vent system gives the boys fall in front of the girl, and their floor gives in all of them falling into a classroom, filling it with chocolate pudding. Perfect time to seg to the cafeteria. Janie and Ricky line up to get food when Jake comes up to them and says hi to Janie. He asks her out so they could be seen in public together, but Janie flat out refuses because the popular guy hasn't spoken to her in years. Subsequently, Jake and his peers are practicing football with their win-at-all-costs jerk of a coach, who constantly spits and cusses a lot. Jake is seated on the bench as he reminisces back to the mistake that he made during last year's championship game. He throws the ball to a nerdy football player, who gets tackled and ripped into two. At Jake's house, his dad heard about his breakup, so he offered his own wife to his son. This family is weird. Janie is on the couch and her dad asks if she's alright. Janie tells her father that the most popular boy in their school is asking her out, but she's hesitant to go because Jake is a jerk. Janie's father, in an attempt to offer guidance, suggests she should consider going out with the boy interested in her to gain some social standing and perhaps put an end to the unfavorable treatment they've been receiving at home. His advice, however, is tarnished by an inappropriate nickname he uses as he departs. Meanwhile, Jake seeks counsel from his sister Catherine, known for her influential status and feared reputation at school. He believes she possesses the insight to sway Janie's feelings toward him. Catherine agrees to assist, but her help comes with a questionable condition that puts Jake in a moral dilemma. Despite his reservations about the nature of Catherine's help and the condition attached, his desperation leads him to accept her terms. Catherine then lays out a 3-step strategy she believes will win Janie over, promising Jake success in his pursuit. First thing Jake needs to do is earn Janie's trust. So one day in school, a group of guys are bullying Mitch, and Janie tries to stop them. Jake goes over to them and stops the boys from picking on Janie's younger brother. Suddenly, Mitch punches Jake by accident, so Jake punches him several times. He stands up and tells the rest of the boys to never mess with Mitch again. Once Jake gets Janie's trust, it's time to make her feel special. Catherine tells Jake to pick a song with her name in it. In Janie's art class, they do some art on the football field. Suddenly, Jake goes out by the benches and sings a song in front of the class. He keeps singing that Janie has a gun, which the students believe is real, and they run away from her. The cops even come and tase her. That night, Janie goes over to Jake's place. Janie tells him that she came over there to tell him to leave her alone. Thinking it's the icing on the cake, Jake offers her a snack, and he skips towards the kitchen. Janie goes around the living room and observes Jake's trophy cabinet. Jake walks back in with some whipped cream covering both his nipples and a lot more whipped cream on his junk. Janie says she hates banana splits and walks out. Meanwhile, the rich kid Preston walks his parents to their front door. They will be leaving him over the weekend, so they begin giving him instructions about not throwing parties. A lot of workers proceed to ask Preston where to put the keg and speakers. Subsequently, Jake and Catherine visit Janie's home. Jake is there to take Janie to Preston's party, and Catherine gives Janie a complete makeover by simply removing her glasses and ponytail, making her instantly gorgeous. She walks downstairs wearing red heels and a red dress. As she walks down the stairs, the entire thing breaks. At Preston's gathering, Janie becomes the center of attention, her transformation rendering her almost unrecognizable and stirring a buzz among the attendees. This new version of Janie does not sit well with Priscilla, who is visibly upset to see her ex. Meanwhile, Malik finds himself in a peculiar standoff, adhering to an unspoken party rule that he should be the only black attendee, leading to a respectful but odd departure by another guest. As the party unfolds, Jake and Janie momentarily part ways, with Jake searching for her in the crowd. Janie, seizing a moment of rebellion, leaps from the roof into the pool, her splashy entrance underscoring her defiance. Emerging drenched from the pool, she's confronted by Priscilla and her entourage in a confrontational exchange. Priscilla attempts to belittle Janie, asserting that despite her makeover, she remains an outsider, punctuating her taunt with a redundant gesture of pouring water on an already wet Janie. Janie leaves the scene crying. A random guy starts clapping, but everybody just looks at him. Back in Janie's house, Jake goes over and visits her. They talk and have a moment. Janie tells Jake at one point that her dream is to attend an art school in Paris. Just look at her art. The two are about to share a kiss when they both miss each other's faces. Embarrassed, Jake leaves. The next day, Austin asks Jake if he has asked Janie to the prom yet. The cocky blonde continues to make fun of his friend as Jake walks out on them. Austin finds out from Reggie, Ray, and Malik that Janie is now hot. At the school grounds, Jake finally musters the courage to ask Janie out to the prom, breaking Ricky's heart as the best friend watches them. As the prom draws near, the school holds their state championship football game. A group of black cheerleaders tell Priscilla's group to stop stealing their routines, and Priscilla says they don't steal. As they start their routine, the white girls chant that they got big booties and they're definitely not white. Since Reggie Ray reached his concussion limits and Austin is also attacked during the game, their coach brings Jake in. Unfortunately, Jake gives a pretty lousy throw, causing their team to lose. The random guy tries to lead another slow clap. After the game, Austin pretends to whisper the secret into Janie's ear. Jake is tricked into admitting the secret, making Janie very upset. On prom night, Austin and Janie go together while Jake takes Catherine with him. During a high-energy dance-off at the party, tensions rise as Jake and Catherine compete against Austin and Janie. Catherine's provocatively charged dance moves escalate the situation, leading Janie to exit the scene in distress. Elsewhere at the party, Mitch tries to make a bold move by handing Amanda a note with a forward proposition, which she finds somewhat off-putting given its presumptuous tone. Despite this, Amanda responds with a flirtatious remark, and the two decide to leave the party together. In another part of the party, Bruce finds a connection with Ariela, the international exchange student, as they discover a mutual attraction amidst their shared awkwardness. Simultaneously, Catherine, after her intense dance performance, finds companionship with Ox. In a moment of candid conversation, she reveals her surprise that despite her reputation, her experiences haven't been as wild as people might assume. At the prom, Ox expresses a desire to be a significant figure in Catherine's life, hinting at a willingness to step into a role he believes she deserves. The prom night unfolds with a surprising twist when the prom queen announcement is made. Instead of the anticipated contenders, Janie or Priscilla, the crowd is taken aback as the conjoined twins are named prom queens. Amid the celebrations, Jake, the newly crowned prom king, notices Janie exiting the venue, followed closely by Austin. Compelled by his feelings, Jake abandons the prom queen dance to pursue them. Concurrently, Ricky, driven by his affection for Janie, engages in a desperate chase to express his feelings. His pursuit, however, takes a comedic turn as he encounters a series of mishaps, including an encounter with bikers and a serendipitous bus ride that propels him towards his intended destination, adding an element of farcical misadventure to the prom night's events. Jake goes to the hotel room where he finds Austin having wild sex with a girl, but is shocked to find that it is Priscilla. Wallace videotapes them with his pants down. Austin tells Jake that Janie ran home to her daddy, so the popular kid punches Austin and Priscilla, knocking them unconscious for humiliating Janie. He then punches Les for being really weird. Jake then makes his way to Janie's house and learns from Janie's father that she is on her way to the airport to go to an art school in Paris. Jake arrives at the airport and tells the crowd of people in the check-in line that the woman he loves is about to board a plane to Paris. The people cheer him on as they let him pass. Meanwhile, Ricky arrives injured and messed up, tries to do the same thing Jake did, but is turned down by the crowd. Subsequently, Jake confronts Janie using a football before she boards the plane, but uses cliched lines from other popular teen rom-com films to convince her not to go. Molly Ringwald from Pretty in Pink confronts Jake for using all the good lines. The movie ends with Jake's final and only original speech suggesting that they would be better off separated. But Janie mistakenly believes he is quoting the Karate Kid, and she decides to stay with him. The random guy from the party earlier realizes that this is the moment he can lead a clap, but he loses to Ricky, who starts the slow clap and has the rest of the crowd clap with him. The random guy punches Ricky, while Jake and Janie make out in the airport. Hope enjoyed this cream-filled and chocolate pudding-filled review. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel. Thank you for watching.